Okay, so welcome, Jenny. So
Thank
first
you.
of all, congratulations, because you're one of our newest master spiritual life coaches and energy psychologists to go through the Soul Awakening Academy. So this is just going to be a quick informal interview, and it's really just to help people understand what it's like, where, which we'll explain, and then
Yeah.
to where you've become, because you had a vision, you had a dream, you felt a calling, and you acted on it, and you put the work in, and now you've achieved it. So there'll be people out there who think it's not possible,
hmm
but you're living proof that it is. So yeah, so just introduce yourself and just tell everybody where you were before the course, where you've come from.
Sure. So I've always been spiritual, had lots of different experiences where I've sort of used crystals or been to mediums, really interested in the alternative. But it's always been just for me like a sort of not a hobby, but like my just part of my practices really. I have a background in education, so I've been a primary school teacher for 20 plus years. Always wanted to be a primary school teacher from being really young. And so when I achieved that, I felt really, really proud. But the job has changed, and over the years, my role's changed. Kind of worked my way up to being a deputy head of a primary school, which again was something I never really wanted to do. It wasn't on my plan, but I did it. But over the years, I'd stopped listening to my intuition. I was um, doing more work. My life would get out of balance, and my health would suffer, or my mental health, connection with friends and family, because I was doing so much work and just not. I didn't strike that balance
Mm.
with working life, which so many people, we all struggle with, don't we? So the pandemic was kind of when it really ramped up.
Yeah.
So being a leader of a primary school through the pandemic, basically from March up to the summer holidays, didn't have any holidays. I was in every day. It was tough. And I really sort of went back to my meditation and my crystals and journaling as like a coping mechanism. So one morning I was doing my meditation and literally heard the voice say, life coach. And I was like, that's it. That's how I can find some more balance. It was months. I couldn't find a course, kept finding courses that were like, like an Eventbrite, 50 quid and you'll be a coach. And I was like, no, it needs to be genuine. It needs to be have weight behind it and accredited. I knew I wanted that. I didn't want to kind of feel like a fraud in this arena. I wanted to have that power behind me. So it did take me a while. And also back in school, it was just busy, busy, busy. So it wasn't until last summer, so July 21, my kids had a couple of days in school and I'd already finished. And so I had 2 days on my own. So I was in the garden and I did a manifestation activity. And it was do this activity and in 24 hours you'll have a sign. So I was like, okay. So I did it and I'm lying there in the sun and I was like, I'm just going to Google what I journaled my business name would be and see if the web domain's available. So I Googled it and up came the academy and I was like, there it is, there's the sign. And the rest is history, really. I met with you, we discussed the course. Within a few weeks, I'd signed up, and then I started it in the September with a view, and it was a really clear view to complete it by the next summer holidays because I wanted to, on my timeline, know that I could complete the course, pass the course, and do my accreditation in readiness for September so that I could step out of some of my roles at school, reduce my hours, and then start my own business. And I did it. So I am living that reality. And like you said earlier, people will be wanting to know, is it possible? I probably wouldn't have thought it was possible. Every step of the way, it felt right. It felt right to do the course. It felt right to sort of commit to it and reduce my role. And it's never felt scary. It's always felt right, it's been great, really tapping into my intuition and just following that.
That's such an amazing story. And I remember you telling me that at the time about the signs that you've got from doing it. And so many people, when they've joined the course or found the academy, it's because they've somehow asked and then they've just jumped on and then I've been there in front of their face. It's amazing how
Yeah.
how so many people say the same thing, but it's like, You know, you will find that thing if you're open to receiving and it's the right time for you. So it was
Yeah.
the right time for you for sure. And you set your sights on the goal. And that's one of the things that I've seen your strength, very practical, and it's probably down to your teaching background as well. You know, it's very driven. You know, you can help people really set grounded, practical goals for themselves to achieve
Yeah.
the thing that they want. So all of your background, and saying this to everybody, all of their life experience and work experience comes into the coaching arena because it's part of the fabric of who you are and how you can help other people going forward. So I've seen massive strengths where you're very grounded and practical in your approach, which is so helpful for people when they want to achieve things in their
Mm.
life. So, what transformation or change did this make to your life personally? Because the course can go deep. It starts to peel back the layers of our childhood. We want to get to any core issues and blocks, don't we? We want to work through those to overcome anything
Yeah.
that's back. So, what transformation did you notice it was making for you personally?
The biggest, I think, because you do all the activities on yourself, and when you're coached by fellow students as well, you have them done to you, you know. So it's been really interesting to sort of really look inward and peel back layers and spot things that you've just lived with. The biggest one, Amory, that I cannot get over, and it's gone, and I'm living proof of that it's gone, is this belief, this limiting belief of I'm not good enough. I
Mm.
can't do this. I'll keep myself small. I can't be seen. And it was playing out in loads of different ways. So at work, I wouldn't necessarily try new things or go for promotion or take on a role that I was more than capable of doing. And I have proved that to myself. But I could have done it years ago rather than waiting. Loads of different ways, just not speaking up with friends, you know, in a situation, talking about book in a book club, you know, like really simple things, and not just having my opinion. It's like, well, no, my opinion's not valid, so I'm just not going to say it. And just that has been the biggest change. So doing the coaching, I had a real resistance to do any coaching at the very beginning. It was like, right, and now do some coaching. And I was like, no, because I'm not good enough. And then after my first session, I was like, it's okay. Do you know? And it was just baby steps, and you just have to build on it and build on it. And it's so liberating. I love it now. I'll try anything. So I've been doing some collaborations with friends. I've been going live on Instagram, which at first was like, oh, I can't do that. And I don't care. I will give anything a go now. I love it.
That's so cool. Oh my God, I'm so pleased for you because it's a challenge, isn't it? You know, we start off and we think, right, you know, we want to help people, got this itch inside. Then we go on this quest, we find the right course, we start on the course, but then all this internal stuff, our own personal stuff, story, starts to come up, and we have to kind of reflect on ourselves, don't we? Because
Mm,
if we want to coach someone else, we have to walk the walk,
yeah,
not just talk the talk. So people will look at you as a coach and go, okay, where has she been? And how, you know, what have been her challenges? And has she got through that yet? And if so, if I believe and trust in this person, then they're going to be my guide and mentor. So we have to
yeah.
go through these barriers ourselves to really help somebody else, throw them a lifeline.
And again, that vulnerability when you're sharing on
Yeah,
social media or whatever you do, it's just kind of owning it and saying, yeah, I've really struggled with this, but I've overcome it. And people buy into people, don't they? And if you can be honest and share that, then it really helps them to, like you say, buy into you and what you're doing.
definitely, definitely. So sharing part of yourself, and that can be scary in itself. A lot of our coaches, they've gone from really not being confident at all on social media to that, like you say, going live, doing their own groups, doing all this, that, and the other. So you know, it's possible to become that person that you know you want to be inside. So what would you say has changed as a result? I know, have you left your full-time teaching career now, or
No, so I've stepped back. So I've worked my way up to deputy and was kind of like the go-to for loads of things. I've stepped back from that responsibility, which is the kind of, you go to deputy and then you go to head. So
yeah,
to kind of reverse up is a bit like what you're doing. But I didn't want to be ahead. It felt out of alignment with actually what I wanted to do. I didn't have headspace or balance. And now I've stepped back, so I'm class teaching a couple of days a week. I'm the Senko, so help all the children with special needs. And then I've got 2 days a week in my business. So at the moment, I've got a nice balance. And the aim is to grow my business and reduce my role at school.
Yeah, so I guess as what what's changed as a result is you found that work balance and you're following your passion as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like journal a lot, and I've sort of journaled on the things I wanted from my life. So on my days when I'm working for myself, I go for a swim at lunch, which I like. Exercise is one of those things that got sacrificed. It either got squeezed out, or it was last thing at night, or it wasn't at a time that was suiting to me. So I can take my kids to school and pick them up. I can prepare healthier meals because I've got the time. There's just more flexibility, but also that headspace. I can be more present for my family. I can be more present for myself, not rushing from one thing to another. So the impact is far and wide, actually. And also other people around me saying, God, I'm so proud of you. I'm so inspired that you're doing it. It's that it is possible. We don't have to be stuck in these lives that we've created for ourselves that society tells us we can't get out of. It's possible to break that mold. Teaching is an identity. You are this person sometimes on a pedestal, but it becomes a lifestyle because you work long hours, you work your weekends, usually your holidays as well. So it is a lifestyle and a choice. So to break free from that, I have had several teacher friends go like, oh my God, but what can I do? And it's not that you have to be a coach, but you don't have to always be a teacher. You've got a lot of skills that are transferable, and a lot of them do help me in coaching. So it's being a role model, and just I want to inspire my kids to think they don't have to go down a career path and then think they have to stay at it. They can pivot if they want to.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's such lovely, inspiring, wise words for people to hear, that they can break the mold, and that you are, the change maker in your family. Especially if people come from traditions of you must be this or you will be that, or now you're that, you can't do anything else, or what will people think of me is another massive one. Certain people are here to break the mold, and once you break that mold, that then continues forward into the generations to come. So you're not stuck in this ancestral cycle of
Yeah.
live a life but don't be fully happy. Don't live a life but don't ever dare to try and reach your potential, or be different. So that's amazing words for people. So what advice would you give other people who are thinking about taking the course but maybe have a few limiting beliefs around it's possible for them?
For me, it felt right for me to do it. So it was an easy choice. But I think if I was deliberating, it would be like, if I don't do this, what will my life be like this time next year, in 5 years, in 10 years? And I could forecast that. I knew I was going to either be ill, stressed, go off with, it's just not happy. Role modeling to my kids that you go to work, it makes you ill, you have no life balance, it's no way to live. And then the other question is, what could my life be like if I do make this change in a year's time? And at the moment, it's my business is growing, so there's not loads of security, and that is a little bit scary, but I've got that trust and faith that it's going to be okay. So it's putting the effort into that. But that risk is worth taking versus if I didn't take it.
I love the way you coached yourself to make a decision. I love that.
Yeah.
You're already, had an ability to be able to forward think. Okay, most people, they just think of the worry and the what if and what can go wrong. So they see that possibility only. That's what keeps them safe. But like you say, unhappy. So, a question to ask is, what will it look like if I do this? And what will it look like if I don't do this? So rather than if I do this and the worst thing happens, well, what if you stay where you are? How does that feel for you?
Yeah.
A year or so to come.
And for years, my intuition had been telling me I need to make changes, and I would make them. So I'd get ill, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to go to a nutritionist, I'm going to start the gym. But they were never long lasting changes. And then I stopped drinking alcohol over a year ago now, sort of before I joined the academy. So about 2 months before I joined the academy. And it helped me hear my messages. I could tap into my higher self, and that was really key, I think, in this change, because I could finally tune in and listen to it properly rather than just ignore it and be like, no, it's too scary to take that leap of faith. It's too scary to make a change. I've got to stay like this.
Yeah.
And it was like, actually, no, you can do this, and it will make a positive difference.
Yeah, I think you're going to be an amazing coach. So just for, people who might want to work with you, who is your ideal client? Who are you looking to work with?
I have worked with people with various issues. So it's kind of, it could be relationships, it could be work, it could be health, but for me, it's all about alignment.
Yeah.
So if something is pulling you out of alignment with your higher self, the knock-on effect that has on other parts of your life. So for me, it was my work was dragging me out of alignment, and now I feel like I'm my authentic self by addressing it and my limiting beliefs. But it could be any aspect of your life, but sort of pulling you back in. So identifying where you're out of alignment and then looking at how you can change things. The favorite things I love working with are the subpersonality and the set, because they're just so powerful. And once you have that awareness of your limiting beliefs or the stories you've got and why they're trying to keep you safe, but actually when you can separate from that and give yourself a new narrative that realigns you, it's just game changing.
Yeah, and you're living, breathing, walking, talking proof of all that you say. So well done to you. You're going to be an amazing coach, and I'm so honored that you chose the Soul Awakening Academy to help you fulfill your dreams. So well done, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for today, and we'll share this and get people knowing about who you are and what you do.
Fab. Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.